Race 5, the Grade 1 Forgo. No changes there. Today's 6th race will kick off the pick 6 and scratch number 6, Smoky White. 6th race, scratch the 6, Smoky White. Today's 7th race will begin a mandatory payout pick 5, scratch 2, Maxwell Esquire, and the also eligibles, 9, Higher Standard, 10, Foolish Ghost, and 11, Amundsen. Scratch 2, 9, 10, and 11. Race 8 is the Grade 1 Alan Jerkins. Scratch number 3, Howling Time. Scratch the 3, and note that number 2 is 1 pound over. The 9th race, which begins the late pick 5, the Grade 1 Personal Ensign, no changes. Race 10 begins the late pick 4. It's the Resorts World Casino Sword Dancer Stakes, and no changes in that one. Race 11, the 153rd running of the Run Happy Travers. No changes. Race 12, scratch the 3, Chief Engineer. Scratch number 3, Chief Engineer, out of the 12th. And in today's 13th and final race, scratch the also eligibles, 10 Wasp, 11 Minute Waltz, and 12 Jane Grey. Scratch 10, 11, and 12 out of the 13th. Main track is fast. The turf courses are good. We are on the turf with the exception of race number 2, which will now be run on the main track at the distance of 1 mile. We'll come back at about 11:05. We'll have a live edition of the National Anthem, and we will recap the changes at that time as well. Coming up next, the Run Happy Travers edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Travers Day Talking Horses as we kick off the action on an absolutely spectacular day here at Saratoga. He's Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. Talking Horses brought to you by our good friends at Saratoga Springwater. Appreciate their support. We appreciate your support. Big day today. You ready?
Run Happy Travers Day. Ready to roll. We got 5 grade 1s. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go to work. You can head over to Naira Bets. If you haven't joined yet, look at Joe. Look at how serious Joe is.
Joel's back with a vengeance today.
Game face on. He's back. He's back. We brought him
10 stakes so far up here?
Yeah, but he's been stuck on 10 for quite a while.
He's got some big chances today to get off 10.
He's fairly live today. Promo code SPOT25. You get a free $25 play. Sign up for Naira Bets today and get that free $25 play. We also have a bankroll builder. $50 to win the Sword Dancer, win, lose, or draw. $20 for your bankroll for the Belmont at the Big A, which will kick off on Thursday, September 15th. Less than 2 weeks from today. 3 weeks from today. What else do we have? We have the show. We're on FS1 from 11:30 to 2. We're on FS2 from 2 to 4:30. And FS2 from 6 to 7.
We need Johnny for that drum roll from yesterday. Johnny, a little drum roll from yesterday, please.
No drum roll. We're good. Just so you know, 4:30 to 6, we'll be on Big Fox.
There it is.
Covering the Personal Ensign, the Sword Dancer, as well as the Travers. All today, all the action, 11:30. First post, 11:35. Last post, just before 7 o'clock. Race number 1. Now, you got a lot of first-time starters, and they're going to take the bulk of the play, and I'm embarrassed to see I picked a 3 to 5 already, but it'll probably drift up. Didinger is the only horse in here with any legitimate experience. Two have experience. Wayne Lucas tried the turf with Trackmate. We're going to Parks, look at this horse. The only thing I want to say, I understand this horse is going to be a price in here, and this race didn't come up fast. But isn't it worth pointing out that this horse was 4 to 5? And don't you think that Butch Reed knows that he's coming up on Saratoga on Travers Day in a maiden race, and he's probably going to meet some good horses from some big barns?
Yes,
so
to
this
both.
is
Yes, to
an
both.
interesting ship, and I just don't think this horse should be just completely dismissed because the number came back low. Is that fair?
Where did Belt Parkway finish yesterday anyway?
I think on the belt.
Yeah. Be back at the belt soon.
Not me. I'm on the subway. A-train.
I live 75 feet from it.
Good to know. No thoughts? You have the horse nowhere.
No, I don't like the
You're
horse.
done. Okay. That's it. I don't want
I just feel like there's too much other stuff going on.
toss
These
this
other
up.
firsts, yeah, I just want
So what's the story on verifying?
to the half to the Great Midnight Bizou for
Great.
Mr. Brett.
Very good. Let's not.
All right.
Let's not call it.
All right.
Let's not insult Easy Goer.
I'm sorry.
Let's not insult Easy Goer.
Well, that Easy goes in another stratosphere.
He's great.
Different words from
Called great.
Great for him.
Great.
Yeah, just was told this horse could run a little bit.
Okay. I'm guessing other people were too.
I'm guessing other people would too. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Midnight Bisou, obviously, tremendous racehorse, but there's only one other foal from the dam that was good. There were 3 foals that were not very good.
Mediocre.
You know, and sometimes
Yep.
you look at these things and you say, oh, the horse will have to such, and then disregard. And listen, I picked the horse too, but I think it's important sometimes to remember that number of foals in the horse dam could not run. We'll see with Brad Cox. They paid $775, but it has a big pedigree. The number 6, King's Glory, the Asmussen, a horse that tapped the Dr. Door, and they paid an awful lot of money for this horse.
Yeah,
Kind of more turfy, the dam side, isn't it?
Yeah. Dan was 2 for 14 on the grass. But you got the Spicetown on the top, so I don't worry too much about it. You know, the last breeze, and I didn't see this breeze, but the last breeze is a little on the slow side. I guess it was a maintenance move. We hadn't seen this horse out of the gate since July 24th. The work tab is interesting.
I don't get up that early, so I'll never see the horse out of the gate until they run in the afternoon, Ann,
Right.
in case you're interested.
What I'm saying is, it's an interesting work tab for an Asmussen first-time starter. You usually see these horses work a little bit faster. Now the track's been a little slow, so maybe that's.
Does that mean anything? Or are
He's
we
been
just
over at the
talking?
Oklahoma though, so
Does it mean anything? Or are we just talking?
I don't. I put the horse
Kinda
second.
just talking,
David
right?
made the horse 9 to 5 morning line, so obviously there's something.
Yeah, he obviously must think the horse is working well.
Yeah.
He made the horse the favorite, and it's Asmussen, so I'm not surprised. Standard of Proof, who I have second in here, not a ton of pedigree. The first foal, the dam ran a 72 buyer on the dirt, a gun runner, and I thought it was interesting that Chad Brown chose to run this horse at 6 furlongs, first time in the dirt. And oddly enough, I almost feel like it's either a very good sign or the horse just needs a race. But you kind of wonder, he doesn't usually give him a race
No, he
first
doesn't
time,
usually
so
give him a race.
probably a sign he thinks the horse is pretty good at 6 furlongs. I have that one second. Race 1. Race number 2, unfortunately, is off the turf. The only race off the turf today. We run a mile. This will be the first time these 2-year-olds will go a mile. It was
Out
a
of
fun.
the Wilson shoot, by the way.
There we go. That's the only way we can run them here. What'd you do here?
We scratched into the same exact 4.
I didn't scratch into anybody. I made separate picks.
Oh, that's right. I scratched. I had the Barkley Tagos on top. Yeah, triple start. The half to Persistent Lead by American Pharaoh. This was one of
Persistently was a very good Shug McGay
Beat
horse.
Rachel Alexandra.
Second dam is Heavenly Prize for this horse. And interestingly enough, Heavenly Prize is, and I'm going to say she was verging on greatness. I really loved her, but maybe I just had a personal love for her. She's been a more effective turf dam, which is why this horse was probably turf with American Pharaoh in there. Todd left in. It's just, where else do you go? I mean, I wanted to bet
You know
Dale
what was
Romans.
interesting about this horse to me, Andy, too? Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
This horse was at Churchill Downs
I know.
and came up here for a turf breeze and then was entered in a turf race.
Well,
That bothers me a little
It should
bit.
bother you because Churchill Downs, as many of you know, will not be running turf racing in September. But he could have left the horse there and pointed towards Kentucky Downs because the horse is a Kentucky bred.
Could have.
And he could have stayed there and got over to Kentucky Downs. So, for whatever reason, they've come up here. Listen, you know, you've got Dale Roman's horse Read On, who, to be fair, has speed, but this is really a turf meant horse and a horse to look for in the turf going forward. And after this, like, what do you have? You know,
Read On probably, with the benefit of the race and the pedigree, is going to I think, appreciate the mile, especially when he's catching some horses who are just
turf.
making their debuts. It is turf.
The Wesley Ward horse is funny, right? Fantastic. Again, a fantastic, it's really a very turfy second dam.
Didn't take a lot of money first time out. Ran into Oxymore, came back to win the stakes up here. But then he had an early kitchen sink, blinkers off, stretching out, going on main track only after a turf debut.
I want you to do me a favor
Yeah.
for the rest of the year. I don't want you to pick a single Wesley Ward first-time star in a turf sprint. 2020.
Those things have been
Give
terrible,
up.
huh?
4 to 5 the other day.
How bad was that horse?
Well-
The only good one he ran was the one that the second time started dueled him to the ground. The horse I had the tip on.
Yeah.
And he ran 12 to 1. He ran second.
Yeah,
He got beat
that
by my
was.
fourth horse.
Yeah, you can pick them if they're big prices. We'll see what happens in race 2. Obviously, no real form to go on. Race number 3 at 7 furlongs. Thought this was kind of an interesting race, and I want to start out with the replay that involves your first and second choices and my first choice, which are 3 different horses. And I want to show the start for Bold Journey, who gets left. And thought Jose worked out a pretty good trip after that, and I'm not sure getting left really mattered. He was very patient. So why do you have G Munning on top?
Second time for Safi Joseph. He gets a little equipment change here with the blinkers going on. I didn't really see that bad of a bobble at the break, but he was chasing
It didn't
wide.
exist.
It didn't exist.
It existed in Narnia.
Yeah, he was wide, and I don't know.
I want you to note where Color Me Potsy is. Because
Yeah.
this is reminiscent of the time I had to yell at Jose Espinosa years ago on the Jerkins horse, where everybody in the race was out in the 6th path, and this horse is glued to the rail. But continue.
No, I was going to make a point of that. Now this horse comes. Now G Money comes running late,
Get out of
but
here. Get out of here.
after a
What is it with this bee? It's the same bee. He's been annoying me for like a week.
how do you know? Did you tag him?
I can tell. He's saying my name.
Wow.
You sent him.
I wouldn't send a bee.
would if you
I wouldn't send a bee. Believe me.
Anyway, excuse me. We digress.
I'm coming with bigger firepower, pal. I just hope it was second off the little break. Second time for Safi. The blinkers help. Maybe this horse's debut. You and I were both talking after his debut that it's funny, him and Bold Journey find their way back to each other in the middle of the summer at Saratoga. That was such a good debut. Bold Journey came back and galloped, and it was like, wow, maybe this was a good race. And quite frankly, they've both just underperformed from that day at Aqueduct.
Listen, Savvy Joseph did do a very good job improving the horse that ran third in there, Dr. Blute. I'm not a big fan. I think these horses were very much from the flow of the race and the outside, but I don't have a super strong opinion. I'm taking Color Me Potsy. Eric Cancel has done well when he's been aggressive with this horse. I believe he can be the speed, and this is one horse that Eric's ridden very well at times, but he made a mistake last time. I don't think it's hard, but he was glued to the rail, and this is a day where it's a very, very possible dead rail. And if you look at that race, I mean, that horse is on the rail.
The race last time he's talking about.
Nobody else is inside of the 4-path,
No,
basically.
everybody's in the middle of the race.
So I got to take him off what I think is a very possible dead rail
You
trip.
just got to be careful if you think he's going, because if they bet all the money they won last time on the Hill, he'll be 3 in front of these horses again.
Well, I want to talk about On the Hill. No, On the Hill's not as fast as this horse. On the Hill's this horse.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking, obviously, but this was one. This
This
was
was
one
the
of the
they
biggest
knew. This was the they knew
world.
of the meet. This was literally the they knew of the meet. That this horse was favored, and I know it was a big rider switch to Luis Saez. I get it.
But he
This horse has
galloped.
never had any speed of any kind, and I mean he was just right on top and he jogged. They knew. And what do you do with they knews when they come back? Jimmy Bond, I didn't put the stat up. For what it's worth, they're 10 for 43. Positive ROI because there's a big priced horse in there, but a nice ROI off a win in dirt sprints. So I'm not going to be shocked when this horse comes back and wins well. For what it's worth, Saratoga, they're just 1 for 7.
You know what the problem is? This horse probably going to be the favorite again,
Yeah, I don't want him as the favorite here.
right? We didn't want him as the favorite last time in the big.
Last race pretty good,
job.
though.
I know it was.
Last
Where did it
race.
come from is the question.
I got him third. I've got a majority partner second. Linda Rice has sort of entered this horse a few times in here. And this horse ran very well, got left last time. And obviously, I wouldn't say it was a day new because he was a super logical horse last time, but he got left and just smothered that field. And I think majority partner is dangerous. You and I saw this race
A little
bit
differently.
We'll see what happens in race number 3. Race number 4, beginning of the stakes action, the only grade 2 on the card, the Ballston Spa. And we'll start with technical analysis, who's going to be probably one of the most heavy favorites on the entire card today. I mean, we've got some Jackie's Warriors, obviously, going to be a huge favorite. Listen, she did very well in the Diana, and her speed held up in this race, but she and Natalia just ran around the track together. She's improved. She is the speed. She's a horse that can rate, though, and be successful. You've got a little give in the ground after the rain we had. We had a little more rain last night, a minor amount, but for what it's worth.
What's this double going to be paying?
Which double?
Her to Jackie's Warrior.
Oh, not a lot. I mean, the problem with Tegnell now is she looks too good on paper.
Yep.
Best horse with a potential pace advantage.
Best horse with a huge tactical advantage.
Well,
yeah.
no, even if somebody else goes, she can rate.
Right. I mean, who would you imagine goes? Is our flash drive try to go? I mean, I can't even imagine who else would try to go in here. I really can't.
So, well, Lamista, who knows? But Lamista last time beating Fluffy Socks, an excellent ride by Flavian Pratt last time. He got her right into the race, and that made a difference. And Fluffy Socks is a horse that's sort of run some decent races and gotten her share of mediocre trips and run well. And I'm not sure she didn't run every bit as well, if not better than Lamista. And Lamista just being forward in there really helped a lot.
I think Fluffy Socks is overall the better filly, but last time Lamista just got the better trip.
First time Lamista finally ran well since her debut in the States when she ran well. And
Harvey's Little Goyle.
Yeah. So
she was one of you. If you loved Harvey's Little Goyle.
I did love Harvey's Little Goyle. Well, I made a lot of money with Harvey's Little Goyle. Yeah. Made a lot of money the day
do
she
better in the right places.
won the turf at Churchill that day when she paid $20.
Paid $20,
won that
right?
stake, and then she won the QE2.
Maybe.
She won the QE2, yeah. What about 1 hour flash drive? She's improved, but she'd have to take another step forward, wouldn't she?
It's a little different.
Horses?
This is a little different than Plumley and Love and Thunder.
She beat last time.
Yeah.
Here's her winning the Della Rose. Della Rose.
The favorite tipped in Della Rose. Yeah, it's just parked 3 wide here on the. Excuse me.
She got a clean trip. The horse who was unlucky there was Love and Thunder.
Yes.
But Love and Thunder, and this was kind of not her fault. I mean, it's hard. I don't know. I almost wonder if Love and Thunder's horse psychs out riders, and they end up, making decisions they regret. And I'm sure Irad after the race was frustrated because he probably rode the best filly. But this is a nice horse from Marcassi. She's going to have to take another step forward to get it done here. But she's fairly consistent and runs well. High Opinion ran second in this race to Villadera in a race that collapsed last year. But I was so disappointed with her last effort. I know she was buried
terrible last time,
but she's got to step it up from there.
And then talk about facing exponentially tougher in here than the horse she faced last time.
No question about it. Race number 5 is the Forgo, and we'll take a look at Jackie's Warriors Waltz in the Park in the Vanderbilt. I don't know. Who's going to run with him early? I don't think he has a problem with distance. I mean, this is a walk in the park. I don't know. I'm not trying to beat this horse anymore. I'll tell you what, though. If Bill Mott had run Speaker's Corner in here instead of shipping to California, I would have tried to beat him.
Really?
Well, Bill took on Flightline and Life is Good and then threw in the towel. I think he'd have a chance against this horse.
I'm a big Speaker's Corner fan, but I don't.
I think you picked him against Flightline.
Going 7.
And Life is Good.
I don't know.
And Life is Good.
Going
but
7,
you wouldn't
man.
Pick him today.
Going 7.
Yeah, he was doors. He had a big shot. Anyway, I don't think it's going to be 1-2.
1-5?
I don't know. I mean, it's just like, look at prices he's every time. I mean, he's facing some decent horses, but I don't know. He just feels like he's like a different galaxy than these horses.
He's in it because he is. Because he is. I think Bill Mott has enough firepower. He probably can't beat him, but Baby Yoda, I'm going to make a cold 3-1 here.
Okay. Why?
Baby Yoda is just a different horse at Saratoga.
Yeah, he won last time because reinvestment risk didn't show up.
But he still beat the rest of them pretty handily. He's now 3 for 3 at Saratoga.
He's run similar figures in 2 of them in one ridiculous race.
I don't disagree. I don't agree with that. His last race is better than anything else he's done since that freak performance here last year against Olympiad.
Yes, about as similar to his Malibu.
I don't know. I don't agree.
Okay, I know. You don't think Flightline's that good. I know.
I don't agree with this assessment.
Good luck.
Think this horse is a Saratoga horse.
I think he's been in the right
And he's
spot.
going to be he'll be probably the 3rd or 4th. I mean, Cody's Wish will be second choice, and I imagine Pipeline might
We're at
be. They'll be similar
114 lunches.
prices.
I'll take Pipeline over Baby Yoda for 1 lunch.
In the finish?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so let's look at Cody's Wish. I think Bill Mott does have a decent horse in here in Cody's Wish. And I like Baby Yoda, but Cody's Wish will trounce Baby Yoda today. This horse is okay. Now, he got it done barely. He was overbet last time, despite some people not recognizing that, but he did get it done. He's gotten pretty good.
It's 5 for 5. All 5 of his wins have come in 1-turn miles. 4 at Churchill Downs and 1 at Belmont in the Westchester in the over a sloppy track.
He's probably the best horse that Cody's Wish has faced recently. Is that fair? I mean, Jackie's Warriors faced recently.
The best horse that Jackie's Warriors faced recently.
He's better than Reinvestment Risk and Sound Money, I think, at this point in his right now.
I don't know if he's better than Reinvestment
Yeah,
Risk.
he is.
You think he is?
Yeah, this year, yeah, his last couple races, yeah, he's a little faster. It's not a huge gap, but he's okay. And I tell you something, I had a discussion. I understand that Pipeline ran very well at a mile and eighth last year. I'm still not convinced that he's not a better one-turn horse. Now, the race will show here when he buried Jerry the Nipper. He had everything go his own way at Aqueduct. It's hard to believe this race was 4+ months ago, right?
Wow.
This guy's okay. And I think he's going to run well. You're going to make it cold 3-1. I'm going to make it 3-6.
Okay.
That's my play. Depending
There
on
you
the
go.
races. I think Pipeline's going to run a good race today. Because Pipeline's also, and Pipeline and Cody's Wish are in a good position here in that they're not trying to win. They obviously want to win. I don't mean they're not trying to win the race. But their running style doesn't put them in a situation where they're compromised at all by the favorite. Is that fair?
This is the day where I think Joel probably isn't going to mess around at all and just. Last time he just kept Jackie Warren. I mean, he's just going to go today.
Yeah.
I think he'll let him flaunt his speed today.
Yeah, I mean, Deep and Snow didn't run with him last time. Why is he going to run with him today?
Right.
Maybe from the outside post, Ricardo will be aggressive, but we'll see. Looking forward to seeing the Grade 1 Forgo. Forgo, a horse who rarely ran here. He ran here in the Whitney in 1977, I want to say, or 76. The one nearly on time one, the 3-year-old for Leroy Jolly, 103 pounds. And they just paraded around the track at even money because he couldn't handle the slop. And they ran him because so many people came to see him run and they didn't want to scratch him. And somehow he went off even money, and everybody knew that he couldn't stand up.
Wow.
But he did win his final career race, I believe, or his final, might have come back and won an allowance race the next year. But he beat Silver Series in the Woodward, and that was a muddy track. It's the only wet track race Centillo ever lost. You know that?
I didn't. I do now.
Yeah. Centillo is an incredible mud runner for T.J. Kelly. Race number 6 is an interesting race. What did you do here?
I went back to Swift Tap.
So Javier Castellano got days for Dot's Dollar, but they left him up. Okay, that's fair to the public. Not days for fouling.
Should have
this
gotten
horse, they
days.
left
No
him up.
offense to him.
He should have. This horse should have come down, too.
Horse should have come down.
Right.
Yeah. Horse should have come down.
Yeah.
Terrible
Horse would have won
call.
if
It
he
was a
wasn't
terrible
fouled in
call.
that race. Yeah, I agree. It's a surprising call. I don't
Then
understand.
the next day they took the other horse, the Baker 3000 down.
Because he kissed him.
Right.
Kissed him. As though
Another ridiculous
hurting
call.
isn't fouling. But anyway, we digress.
In any event, I thought this horse ran well enough. I mean, I know he didn't improve much for Rob Ashrus, whose blonde really hasn't been that hot here. It's been a little
They
cool.
had one day where they won 2 races.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they've been in the same situation with Rudy.
I
They've
had a
just
tough
run
time with this
less
race,
horses.
Andy. I went back to a horse who was going to be a middling price. This is not the mandatory pick 5 starts in race 7. I'm kind of glad this is not part of it because
Is there an extra pick 4 starting in
there
race
is.
number
It starts in
4?
It starts in the. Let me look. Hold on.
Race number 4.
It's in
Race
the
number 4,
fourth.
extra pick 4. Anthony missed that.
The
And
bonus
it's normally
pick
the
4.
highlight of his day.
No, the bonus pick 5 is the highlight of my day. That's why I'm ready on the
No, it's a
mandatory.
pick 4.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. I'm not even shocked that horse wins. This is a tricky race. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I'm betting Jet Speed. Now, I don't know if Jet Speed is good enough. But we're going to show Jet Speed's race at Monmouth last time. He's the one. He doesn't break. He breaks out. It's not really slow. He's a little sluggish out of there. So he sort of drops back. And you're going to see what happens in here as he tries to move up down the inside. This is at Monmouth. And he just gets completely and totally steadied out. So he's had a little tough go of it so far. And you're going to see him drop back to last, where he is now. And then he's going to make kind of a bit of a kamikaze type move on the outside and sort of rush up, and he's actually going to have the lead, this horse,
Look at
at
this
some
trip.
point between calls. Now, I don't know how good he is, but Michelle Hemingway's had some success shipping horses into New York, and they decided to ship this horse up here.
Look
Picks
at
up
this
Luis
trip.
Saez. I mean, this horse got
Wow.
one of the more ridiculous trips you're going to see. And
This horse actually puts his head in front, like you said.
yeah, no, this horse ran. And not surprisingly, he got tired at the end. Listen, I don't totally trust him. I'm not sure he's good enough to beat these horses. But, I mean, to be fair, who are the killers in here?
Nobody.
Life
This is a
Changer,
head
Baltazar.
scratch. I got him 4th. And this is you know, again, I'm happy this is not part of any pick 5 today because this is a head scratch today. This is the kind of race, right? We talked about this off camera. This is the kind of race where you go 5 or 6 deep
betting
and your
this
top
horse.
pick who's the favorite. Yeah,
Looney's-
this horse.
Go ahead. Lunissima, it did have some trouble last time to start, but really didn't do any running whatsoever in this race and didn't win when he was supposed to. And he's probably not a winning type, but he is fastest horse in this race based on some of his recent races, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you do with Balthazar? You have him third, I have him second. He's interesting because he comes out of the They Knew race, but on the hill, and he was in good form off the claim
not
for
impossible.
the pause.
He's not impossible. Life Changer's not impossible. I don't think you him third. I have nowhere.
Yeah.
I think Misbehave's not impossible for Todd on the outside. I mean, one thing I'll say about Misbehave's race, you look at that race in a mile at Church, you see the fast pace, and you think, oh, that race collapsed. It didn't. It actually didn't collapse. So he ran pretty well. He did get a fast pace, but it's not like it was a race that incinerated. So I thought his effort was actually okay, and I don't think he's impossible in here.
No.
I'm not going to, dismiss Todd's
No one would be
horses.
surprised if he got it. That's what I mean. This is a race where half a dozen Lunissima can win, Misbehaved can win. It's a race where half a dozen horses can win. There's only 9 in here. It'd be hard to see the 1. It would kind of be hard to see the 3 and the 9, but the rest of them all have a chance.
We're going to take a break, and we are going to come back with the last 7 races, including the pick 6, which starts in race pick 5 starts in race number 7.
Pick 6
Pick
starts
in
here.
race number 6.
Pick 6 just started, race 6.
We'll be back in a moment.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. It's Travers Day. He's Anthony Stabile. I am not. Race number 7, I'm going to steal a line from Anthony. I didn't have as much trouble as Anthony with this one because Anthony originally put the number 9 as his top pick in this race. You're stealing one from somebody else's book around here. I was going to call you, but I just thought it was so entertaining. I figured I'd see how far you went with that.
Jen Byer straightened out. She's like, I don't think we're going to have that much rain. You have a main track only on top in race 7.
I thought you felt sorry for Tom Amos.
There's a run-happy Travers tip sheet up at Naira Bets if you're missing any of this fine action here on the program. But for those of you later on, the tip sheet is up. And she called me, and she's like,
fine is a relative term.
You made a mistake, I believe. I don't think you want the main track only. I was like, nope, I want Battle Station.
Yeah. It's tough to get those entries in there when the numbers aren't in the form, right, Anth?
Yes, sir.
Race number 7. I'm going to steal Anthony's line. I had a tough time with this race.
This race was a doozy.
Yeah, and guys, my picks are 4, 6, 1, 3. The 2 scratched. 4, 6, 1, 3. Remember, we canceled the video. So it's 4, 6, 1, 3 in here. I agonized who to pick on top, and then they scratched.
The only number we don't have in the race is the 7, by the way. So I guess
winner, chicken dinner.
We just put Casadero first time.
Casadero is actually a half to 2 turf winners.
Yep.
This horse was purchased at Dispersal, $50,000 a little while ago. So why do we like Battle Station? Or you? Why do we? I don't like Battle Station.
I know you don't like it. A little horse for the course action here. 3 wins at the Spa, wins at the distance as well. First time Linda.
She's awesome off the clay. She actually has 2 recent wins off the Claymwood Turf Sprinters, getting her stats up to 3 for 23. The one of them was put up on a DQ, and that was not the horse fouled. So she actually should be 2 for 23. She got put up when that horse went down. When I got taken down at 9 to 1.
Right. Andy, I had a tough time here. I just went to the horse that had success here. Okay. And he's the biggest price on the board.
You ran okay last time. I didn't really like him in here. But in Noble Emotion, Jose Ortiz has one job here, just to go to the lead. This horse is the speed of the speed, and he is a different horse. I was surprised you didn't pick him.
He never goes. He
well,
never goes anymore.
Jose's going.
Okay. I hope you're right for your sake.
Well, last time.
I guess.
Last time. I just go to the lead, and I'll take my chances on the front end. I don't love this horse, but I'm not sure who I'm supposed to like. Ranger Fox won a phony race last time on a slow pace, walking on the front end. Not impossible. I don't really want him. I've got Charm second off a year layoff. I scratched him second.
Ranger Fox wound up on
no Phil Antonacci here? You abandoned your man? I had to pick him today?
I got him 4th.
Did you notice he wasn't? Oh, that's the one we covered. Oh, okay. I thought you said we had 4 different picks. What about Discreet Tune? Is that horse impossible?
No, I have those 3rd. You have him 4th.
Oh, we do have similar.
How's any? No, but we have the.
I don't
the
think
only
the
horse we
Comedy
don't cover
Town. I
is
think
the 7
Comedy
after
Town's
the
a player in
scratch.
this race. Why can't Comedy? Comedy Town ran fine last time. Good trip, but I actually thought the horse at least improved for Mike Trombetta. I hate entries, but I don't think they're going to bet the other half of the entry, are they?
I know you're going to get a square. Listen, what's the favorite going to be in here? 4-1, 7-2.
Feels
Who's
like it.
favorite in here?
Yeah, I'm just going to hope that Noble Emotion's best racer on the front end. I'm hoping he puts her on the front, him on the front end, and we'll hope for the best. But I don't have any confidence whatsoever in this horse.
No.
It's very hard to. I think it's hard to have confidence in anybody in here.
Yeah, confidence is not a word that I would associate with this field.
Race number 8 is the Allen Jerkins. I'm sorry to see Howling Time came out.
Me too.
Thought this horse was a real player. Something must have happened because we talked to Dale Romans. Actually, you and I both talked to him about him. But this does feature, I think there's a very strong argument, despite what my friend Tom Amos thinks, that Jack Christopher is the most talented 3-year-old in the country.
I agree. I co-sign that.
I'm not saying he is, but I think there's an argument that he is. And if he wins this race, it'll be a second Grade 1 win, which will tie, at least momentarily, him for the lead with Cyberknife, who's in the Travers. We'll take a look at his Woody Stevens. And this was some performance, and I think it would be a shame if people forget, because he lost the Haskell stretching out, just how good this horse can be.
I want to tell you another thing, too. I don't think the Haskell is indicative of this horse's ability to handle.
I don't think he ran badly in the Haskell. How's that?
I don't either, and I don't think he got it. I think you just got to let him rip. That's what I think.
Well, I don't know about that.
I think you just got to let him rip.
Well, I don't think he's going to here, because Conager's going to go from the rail.
Yeah. No, but what I mean
and Gunite's going to go as well.
What I mean is, Andy, I kind of feel like they tried to get him to rate last time, and I think you got to just, what's that?
Well, that's got to go.
That's got to go. You just got to let him rip.
I will say one thing. If you're Jack Christopher's connections, you'd like to switch posts with the other horse. Please, keep a little louder, please. I can't quite hear every word you're saying.
With a creative.
Yeah, because he does have Gunite outside of him and Conager inside of him. So tactically, it's not the best position to be in. And one thing you know that Steve Asmussen and Tyler Gaffalione are doing with Gunite, they're going.
They're going.
And Steve Asmussen does not fool around in these situations.
Tyler gave this was a great ride last time. He made sure that once after being aggressive, he saw a creative coming. Yeah, okay.
I'm not trying to beat Jack Christopher. I think he's the best horse. But I will say, this is not an easy race.
It's not as easy as the Woody Stevens, but if he shows up.
If he runs his best race and nobody else takes a big step forward, he's going to win again.
He has a way of making decent horses look ordinary.
There's some. Don't let us interrupt.
I don't think they're supposed to be back there, by the way.
They're not. They're not supposed to be there. But anyway.
Thank you, John.
We'll take a look at Gunite, Accretive, and Runnin' Son of a Gun. And by the way, a little love for Runnin' Son of a Gun.
Absolutely.
Great claim by the Toscanos. I mean, he's a really neat horse. He's going to have his day one day.
They had a couple of allowance races didn't go. They had to put him in a Dwyer. He got second. He got third in this.
Gunite ran a sensational race in here. He stumbled, but it wasn't a bad stumble. But he dueled. He was outside of a horse, Pinehurst, on the rail, who was basically eased. And Accretive, who took a real step forward off his maiden win, and got a good trip. And Gunite just dug in and beat him. I mean, Accretive didn't hang here.
No.
These were two really good horses going forward.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, do they both or either one have enough of a forward move unless for some reason you think Jack Christopher's going to take a step back?
I would imagine Gunite's going to have his hands full a little bit more than Accretive is, because he's going to have to deal with Jack Christopher and Conacher on the front end at some point. And I think that gives Accretive in that matchup the edge today, because Accretive's going to be able to sit and make one run. You'd have to imagine Gunite's going to be a little softened up from whatever work he's got to do in the first 5/8 of a mile of the race.
That's fair. We'll see. Gunite's a game horse, and he's getting better for Steve. And one thing about Steve Asmussen's horses, when they get better, they usually hold that form.
And I know you'll poo-poo this a little bit more than most people will.
I'm sure I will.
But this is a horse who has run really well up here as well. That last race was the best race of his career. The Hopeful was a fantastic effort last year.
I'm not poo-pooing it. It's absolutely factual.
He's a horse that's another horse. I think he just gets a little bit better when he comes up to the Northway.
Not bad he's running in Saratoga. Let's take a look at Conager down the rail.
I don't like this horse.
Okay. Thank you. Conager's a very, very good horse. One concern is the Lasix, and that's one of the reasons they've stayed out of New York in these stakes.
Yep.
And they're pointing for this race. It's also a very cool day. It's not a hot summer day.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you something. Be careful with this horse, because he's very, very fast.
But he's under the gun from the rail.
Hang on. We'll get to it in a second. His race, he's under the gun. He may not be under the gun. He may just run away from these horses.
I don't know
this
about
horse
that.
is fat. Anthony, you're misjudging how fast this horse is.
I know he's fast.
And he's got to go. And that race at Churchill on June 3rd, that was a sensational effort. And that's a better effort than anybody in this race has ever run, save Jack Christopher. And I'm not in love with Conacher, and I'm certainly not betting with 7-2 either. But I think you're being a little overly dismissive of a horse that has some serious, serious talent.
The Lasix is a problem, Andy.
It is and it isn't. We'll see if it's a problem. They're a smart outfit.
It's a potential problem.
Right, but to just dismiss him because of the Lasix and
No, it's
ignore
not
how
just the
good he
Lasix.
is. It's a good horse.
He's under that gun from the rail. Now,
But
you
he's
think he might be
faster than
faster than these horses?
He's fast. He's fast. You don't look at pace figures. He's fast.
I can't imagine Jose Ortiz is letting him get too far out of his sights.
I didn't say he is, but I think you're dismissing a horse that has talent and is fast. You're just being a little dismissive of him.
He's running against.
And best field he's ever faced. I got it. I'm not betting him either. But I don't think he's without a chance. And I can understand why some people like him in here.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I hope he's 7. I hope he's the second choice.
Okay. He's going to be the second choice, probably.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Well, I guess Gun I could be. It's close. Oh, wow. He's got Creed of a I guess people figure what you do.
Yeah.
He'll get the trip, and it's Chad Brown. What about Actuator? I would have shown his replay. I should have. Because he's cutting back. His maiden win was impressive. I thought he ran fine in the Indiana Derby.
He was good in the maiden win.
Michael
was
McCarthy horses?
I got him third.
Yeah.
I scratched him for third. The maiden win was. I liked Howling Time a little bit like you did.
So did I.
The maiden win was really good. I'll tell you what. He's another horse, kind of in the same category as Accretive. He could work out a decent enough trip here, and he's going to be a gigantic price. He's going to be a big price in here because they're going to bet Conacher, they're going to bet Gun Eye, Accretive. They're all going to take money behind
Jack
them.
is no slouch.
No.
I just don't know if he's quite good enough to be. He was $1.41 the dollar. Race number 9 is the Personal Ensign. I saw almost all of her races live, including her maiden win. Clairiere, Malathaat, and search results. All things being equal from a trip perspective, if search results runs as well as she did today, in this race, today, she's going to win this race.
She's going to win.
Now, what happened to start was she broke super sharp. Latruska stepped slow. He asked Latruska, she took off, and search results was already full out running because how well she broke, and they got into an insane duel. You're seeing Latruska leaving the screen, basically being eased, and search results had to lead coming in the 16th pole. And she ran a remarkable race, especially given how good Malathaat and Clairiere are. Now, Clairiere has clearly stepped up her game this year.
Clearly.
And she is the leader of the division, and deservedly so at this point. But I'm going to hope that search results can stalk a little bit more comfortably with Latruska and can get the trip and beat her today. I don't know if she's really going to be the fourth choice here. I think she's got to be a shorter price than Malathaat, because why would you bet Malathaat if she couldn't beat Clairiere last time?
Malathaat has to be the fourth choice here, right?
I think so. Well, unless it's Latruska, because the question is, will people give up on her?
So
you haven't, and I don't think you're wrong.
Your thinking with search results is the reason I picked Latruska.
Well, we'll show her winning this race last year, and if they gave award for valiant wins in grade
right?
one.
I mean, the whole field got aim on her at the quarter pole.
I mean, incredible. She held off a million challengers that were being eased back there, and the whole field came. Listen, she's dangerous, and search results stick to her, but it's a very game filly. When she runs a race, she's very tough.
I'm like you. I feel like search results is going to relax a little better today and not attack her as soon as she did in the FIPS. If they do that, I'm going to tell you this too. I know her FIPS last year, Latruska, was one of the biggest speed figures of her life. I don't think she loves Belmont Park. She's thrown some clunkers in at Belmont Park.
Yeah, that's silly. But
I think getting back around, I think the main reason for that is the one-turn, two-turn argument.
By the way, just so I'm on record, I don't agree with any part of that silliness.
But I think she's getting. I think
the bottom, the core of my being. I think
getting back around two turns and getting loose.
Well,
in here.
no. The argument is that in theory, a two-turn race is better for her.
Of course.
Because the pace is not as fast. So that's the whole point. The one-turn races are going to have stronger paces. I mean, in that race, she went 23-2 the first quarter. And, of course, they sped up a little second quarter. They always do. It's a straightaway. Last year, though, they went 46-3, and she still held off. In terms of last year's race, she's going to win this race.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I think she – and listen, I tried to beat her with Clairiere and the Apple Blossom. Beat it with Clariere last time.
Clariere ran very well in the Appalachian. She didn't break.
Yeah.
And she's been breaking better.
She has.
And that's, I think, one of the keys to her, frankly.
I mean, listen,
and she's gotten better as well.
Quite frankly, if Clariere shows up in one of her last 2 races, she's going to win.
No, she's not going to beat search results. If search results runs a race, she's in the Phipps. Because she ran the best race that day, and it's not really that close.
Well, she's going to still have to deal with Latruska at some point.
I'm not saying she's going to win. I'm not going to say she's going to run that race, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. But the best race of any of these horses recently is search results race in the Phipps. Other than that, I like Clariere. I agree. I mean, listen, I've been a fan of Clariere. She broke her maiden.
Me too. You tried her a lot last year.
This is a very, very fun race.
I'm hoping Latruska just takes some gate to wire.
You've got 2 champions in here, right?
Yep.
Last year's 3-year-old champion Malathot against. Is this since the breeder? The only time that she met Latruska was the Breeders' Cup, and this is probably the only time they met where theoretically they both can win, kind of.
Basically, this is the Phipps. You're just putting Crazy Beautiful in instead of Bonnie South.
Sounds about.
I
don't even know.
I don't remember.
Race number 10 is the Resorts World Casino Sword Dance. You're impressed, aren't you?
I am.
Anthony helps me with that stuff.
I prep Anthony
Behind
for
the
these
scenes, Anthony gets me together. I'm going to tell you something about this race. I thought this was about as wide open a race as you can possibly find. I think just about anybody can win in this race. I mean, I don't love cross-border. Hold Hard Cash, a little tough to like in here. I mean, even Mirror Mission stretching out, who knows, and is in tremendous form. And my first start is to start with Broom, and we'll show him second in the Breeders' Cup turf. I will not disagree with anyone that he runs his best race. He's the worst to beat. But I'm sorry. Aidan O'Brien is 3 for 23 at Naira on the turf over the last 5 years. Those 3 wins were all in 3-year-old races. We didn't lose sound, did we?
No.
Okay. They're all in 3-year-old races in the Belmont Derby and 2 Belmont Oaks. They just don't run as well when they come. Now, Japan almost won this race last year, but Aidan O'Brien's 0 for 10 in Saratoga with only 4 hitting the board. We can show that stat if you want. Our lone stat today.
Source hasn't had a particularly good year either. I know he's running against some tough horses over there, but he really hasn't done much running this year.
Stat? Anybody?
Did our sound go out? Can they not hear us?
I think we're having a problem. No, we got the stat. Okay, thank you.
Oof, that's rough, huh?
Well, it's not the correct stat. It's actually 0 for 10. Maybe I sent it wrong. It's always possible.
4 in the money, though?
4 hit the board. It's 0 for 10.
Okay, so it's 0 for 10, 4 in the money.
10, guys. I wonder if somebody included Joseph O'Brien's starters.
Oh, there you go.
No, it's in formulated. It's 0 for 10. Anyway, it's 0 for 10. Anyway, I'm going to try to beat him. You've got him third. I've got him third.
Yeah,
I'm not
he can win,
against him, but he can win. As far as Undamo, here he is being Tribhuvan and Gufo. You've got him on top. Have at it.
Yeah, I just thought last time out he finally put it all together. I didn't love. I know a lot of people like the ride in the Manhattan. I didn't love the trip in the Manhattan, the ride in the Manhattan.
You got a great ride in the Manhattan.
I know.
Anybody's interested, he actually got a great ride.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. I don't.
Well, it's true. He got a great ride.
You think it?
No, he got a great ride,
You think
and he got second because of Pratt, who you criticized earlier in the meet. But that's fine. But the reality is he got a great ride.
I don't think he did.
You're wrong.
I thought the ride stunk.
It's fine. It was a great ride. But the problem is that he was wired in that race, and we'll get to that race, and I understand why he didn't win. But to knock the ride is just preposterous.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a bias you have against
know,
that ride.
and I know. No, it's not a bias
Yes,
against the
it
ride.
is.
It's just that the ride stunk.
Yes, it is. That's absurd.
Last time.
That's absurd.
Last time
That's
out.
so absurd. I'm embarrassed that you're
Last
saying
time out,
it.
he actually gave this horse a good ride.
No, he gave him the same ride he gave him the time before.
No.
It just worked out for him.
It was different.
No, it wasn't.
It's a different
No,
ride.
it wasn't.
I like the fact
it
that
wasn't different.
I like the
That's
fact
silly.
it was different. I like the fact that he's drawn inside here. 3 turns, starts on the backstretch.
You should apologize
He gets
to
to
Flavia
I'm
and
not
Pratt.
apologizing.
You should.
He gets to save ground. I think that's important. I think he can put the horse give this horse a similar trip to the one he got from the rail draw last time down at Monmouth. Obviously, this is a much tougher bunch of horses, much tougher bunch of horses. And I don't think he's going to be that short. I think Gufo will take money. I think Tribhuvan's going to take money. I think Broom's going to be a lot shorter than 3-1.
He could be the favorite here. I disagree with everything you're
Really?
saying here. I think the last time was the time horse.
Wow.
I think he can win this race, but he's had very good trips in all his races. He's okay, and he can win, and I understand Louis owns a piece of him. He's your friend, and I totally get it, and I hope he wins for Louis as well as all other connections who I'm friendly with. Having said all that, He's gotten great trips in his races. Now he draws the rail again. He probably gets another one again because he's got one of the best riders in the world riding him, who's riding sensationally up here. Right. You have a preposterously bad opinion about Flavien Prat. Keep having it because it's stupid. It really is
the world's a
ridiculous.
big place, Andy.
Yeah, and he's one of the best riders in the world, and
Okay.
and there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of guys in this colony, by the way, are some of the best riders in the world. And Ryan Moore's here too. But Flavien Prat's a great rider, and he's given this horse great rides, and I think it's really wrong that you're saying that.
I didn't like the ride. I
I
said the
understand
Yoda
you
was a
didn't like
great
it,
ride
but
last time. I didn't like the ride in Manhattan.
Okay, so there's one guy and a million people disagree. Now,
Oh, a
here's,
lot of people
here's
didn't
the
like the ride in
Manhattan where he got a terrible ride.
He did
here's
get a
the
terrible ride.
horrible
Glad to
ride he
finally
got in
admit it.
Manhattan. A horse who has no speed, sat in basically the same spot. I think a lot of people are going to say that Tribhuvan can't get the distance. Now, last year they made a mistake. They let Channelmaker go. That's not happening again. I understand that there's a little give in the ground. There was mile and 3/8 last time. He fell apart. I think people are going to make a mistake. It's distance. Maybe it is a distance. This horse did win last year, and I don't want to completely dismiss a horse that's going to be loose in the lead here.
So I think the argument now is this. He is so much faster than Channelmaker at this point in his career. But Channelmaker is so much more effective when he is forward. Something has to give, right? I mean,
No,
does
he's
he have
faster
to go?
than Channelmaker, and he's going. I don't think we'll show Channelmaker's last race. I just don't think he's good enough. I mean, he just barely beat Soldier Rising, and he probably only won because Soldier Rising hung. I love Channelmaker, but he isn't as good as these horses at this
I'll
point.
say this, though. If that rain helped anyone, it's helped Channelmaker, he's just a different horse when there's some cut in the ground. When he won this a
I also
couple of
don't
years
agree with
back,
that, but
when he won this a couple of
that
years
was
back.
a bog. You're talking about bogs that he got loose on. I'm gonna disagree again.
Okay.
But okay.
He won the turf. He won his Turf Classic over Robert the Bruce on a wet
On a
track.
bog when he was loose. When he got loose. It's a
Well-
different story. We disagree. That's fine.
No, listen.
Gufo.
Tribhuvan's faster. It's just I don't know. There has to be some intent from Channelmaker. I would think.
Gufo. I feel like Gufo has just not put it together this year, and he was better last year. I know Christoph's putting the blinkers on, but it's a bit of desperation. Christoph said to me earlier in the year, I think I made a mistake putting blinkers on him last year. Now he's saying I made a mistake taking him off, and that's because he's frustrated. And I don't blame
He
him.
won a grade 1 with the blinkers
Yeah.
last year, but
Well, that doesn't mean the blinkers was the
No.
reason, and that's his point. And I respect his
and
adaptability.
he started the year at Gulfstream.
He looked very good.
A place that he shouldn't, he's not really built to win at. He just galloped as well. This was going to have a gigantic year as a 5-year-old, and he's went backwards since.
Yeah, you've got him second. I like Rock Emperor.
I think the pace is going to come back in here.
Yeah, I like Rock Emperor here. I hope it does because I like Rock Emperor. I thought Rock Emperor actually ran pretty well last time. I know these are better horses. I don't trust Rock Emperor. He is really good occasionally and really fake other days. And he has been incredibly unreliable.
The good one shows up, he'll be right there.
If the good one shows up, he can win this race.
Yep.
And he's going to be far and away the
Be a
biggest
big
price of these Chad Brown
Yeah.
horses. And I just think he's going to get a little lost. And I'm going through this race over and over again. I'm looking at everybody. And there's nobody really in here that's ridiculous. I mean, Cold Hard Cash probably not quite good enough, but not a terrible horse. Mirror Mission, hey, who knows? The horse stretches out.
The Cross-Border probably
he's
went the
not in his
wrong
best
way.
form
Yeah.
to beat these horses, but he has on his day run well enough to get a piece. I just thought Rock Emperor is okay at times, and I'm going to take him a shot with him at a price. I don't love him, but I didn't love anybody in here, and I thought his price would be fair. Interesting
Fair enough.
race. It's a really
Yeah.
fun race. And then there's the Run Happy Travers, which, by the way, will be part of our broadcast on Fox today.
Those last 2 races as well, starting with the Personal Ensign.
Personal Ensign, the
432
Resorts World Casino
432
Sword
post.
Dancer.
Yeah, that's very good.
435 or something.
And now
for
the Run Happy Travers.
the Run Happy Travers.
432, right. 432
So-
post time, 505, and then 544.
Let's start with the Jim Dandy, which Epicenter won.
Makes
and
sense.
Got that win that he's supposed to get. Who'd you pick here?
I picked Arturius.
Oh, okay. I don't disagree that Epicenter's the horse to beat here because the thing that I like about Epicenter is he's consistent. He runs and shows up and runs his race every time. The problem I have is he doesn't have an enormous edge over anybody here. And maybe he runs a big breakout figure today, and never would surprise me, especially from Steve. But he's going to be, at best, 7-5. Possibly lower.
Probably close to even money, right?
And I don't know. I'm not certain, but I respect David's opinions, and I'll live with that morning line. And I don't think that you're betting him at 7-5 is anything close to value because there's too many horses in this race that potentially can run races good enough to beat him. He's been consistent. He shows up and runs every time. I just think he's a bad gamble at 7 to 5. or
There's
less.
not enough. He does not have enough of an edge over these horses to warrant the parity on the board.
In my opinion, and you agree.
I agree.
But
Yeah.
I'm not knocking him. He's
There's
run
nothing
well.
to knock. It's impossible to knock him.
As far as Zandon, well, we'll get to the Derby and talk about it. I just think the problem is, what trip does Zandon work out? Because Epicenter can be much more forward, and Zandon's very best race seems to be dropping back. If there was a lot more speed in this race, I would have taken a shot with Zandon, because I would have thought he could just drop back and make his run, and I think that even though Epicenter ran better than him in the Derby, he was close to the pace and maybe could run it. I just don't see it happening.
I think that's probably the best. Epicenter has beaten Zandon in all 3 of their starts because Epicenter has more speed.
Even though he came from behind last time. But I also think that Zandon, to be fair, got a very good prep last time out. Now,
Absolutely.
obviously, early voting, who I picked, and we'll get to him, we'll talk about the Preakness, he was bad last time. Can he run better in here is really the question, and we'll discuss that later. What about Cyberknife? Who,
I'm not a Cyberknife fan.
well, I'll tell you one thing. This horse gets great rides from Florent Giroux. And he's a cool horse. Look at how tractable he is, right? He comes to 2-path, and that's a little bit of a needle he goes through. A lot of horses are not going to go through it. And this guy, he doesn't hesitate for a second. He is comfortable moving inside of horses, so drawing the rail is probably good for him because you get a feeling he's a little bit of a rail runner.
Florent gave him a
Not that he needs
fantastic
the rail,
ride.
but he's
Fantastic ride.
comfortable down there where a lot of horses aren't. Now, yes, Taiba would probably run a better race. But so
Doesn't
what?
take away
He's
this
not in
horse's
here.
effort, no.
Right, and he took a step forward. Now, can he do it against these horses at 1.25 miles?
The other question is, did he take too big of a step forward? That race kind of sticks out a little bit on his card.
Well, he's
It's a
got a
big
pretty good
fig.
trainer, and he's an improving 3-year-old, and he's another gun runner.
The
I
only
don't
human
know.
connection to have won a run happy Travers. How about that? None of the, and then
None of the
nobody
jockeys.
else.
That's
Nope.
unbelievable.
Yep.
It's because Javi's not here. He's won every other. He's won every Travers.
6 or 7 of them, right?
6 of them.
Yeah. So last year, of course,
I'm
Brad
not
won with Essential
dramatically
Quality.
against him. I think he's
I
a
don't-
bad gamble as the second
Yeah,
choice
I
at
don't
7
like
to
him
2.
at that price.
I don't have a strong opinion against any of the 1, 6, 7, 8. I think they all can win, and I do agree that Epicenter is the most likely one. I just think that the odds 7 to 5, 7 to 2 on Cyberknife, they don't work for me. So that's why I've gone against him in here. Now, as far as early voting, I'm not going to argue with people that think Epicenter ran the best race here. I don't totally agree, but I don't think it's an unfair position to take. Joel gave him a sensational ride after the early trouble, and I can understand. If I bet Epicenter, I'd probably have that opinion. I bet early voting, so maybe I'm going to bite.
If you and I bet Epicenter, we definitely have that
But
opinion.
I'll say one thing about, I'm not sure about that, but early voting ran a 105 buyer in here, and that's the fastest buyer figure anybody in this race has ever run. I know he didn't run that well last time. And it's a weird race because Chad Brown seems to rightfully believe that he's better with a target. And I don't know whose target is in here because there isn't an obvious one on paper here. So what is he going to do? Here's what I know. His good race can beat these horses, and he's 8 to 1 on the line. So I feel the contenders, he's the best price, and that's why I picked him on top.
He has run 5 races, and it's been pairs. His first 4 starts were paired. He has improved.
Well,
He has improved with every second start of the form
well,
cycle.
he's also a horse that was misunderstood in the Withers because that was a much better race from a pace-based standpoint than a lot of people thought.
No, that's more to my point. After the second start of the form cycle is always the better start. And a lot of people are knocking his effort in the Jim Dandy. It's the second biggest speed figure he ever earned.
I know some people who think it was the best figure he's run. I mean, I agree with them, but there are people whose opinion I respect an enormous amount.
This track has also changed incredibly since that Jim Dandy. I was talking to Chad
It's a
Brown
lot-
about
well-
this horse just did not seem to really love
Except
that
we
racetrack.
did get the rain, so we'll see. But it's faster track. It's a yeah.
It is
We
ju-
got to
it's-
move on. Or we're going to run out of
okay.
time. I'm
All right.
sorry. I hear you. Let's talk quickly about the Derby. I think we're going to the Derby next, and we're going to talk to Rich Strike. I got to tell you something. I love Eric Reed. He is the first trainer I've ever talked to consistently that never uses trainer speak. I mean, I think just how forthright he's been about this horse. Like, he said all the right things. Somewhere in him, he's got this race. I have no idea if and when he'll ever show it again, if he does. But you know what? I just think he adds. Anytime the Kentucky Derby winner shows up, especially a horse like this, who's really kind of they're the coolest Derby winners, though Steve Asmussen would rightfully disagree with that. I'm surprised Steve has any hair left after the first 2 Triple Crown races. And Epicenter's looking for real redemption. I don't think he's going to run it, but he's a cool horse.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a. So let's go to your horse, Arturius, and I'll let you talk about him.
For Chad Brown to run this horse in the Curlin in his third start, and now in the Run Happy Travers,
We did that with Miles
start,
D.
I think I know, and Miles D's a pretty good horse.
Not
Looking
good.
to follow in the footsteps of his sire, Arrogate, who has the stakes and track record here at Saratoga. Here's what I like. I like the fact that he made the lead here, and we talked about this all meet long. He makes the lead here, and instead of he keeps going. Runs through the wire here. At the 16th pole, he looks to kick in another gear. I don't think the 1.25 miles is going to be a problem. He's a little bit of a fresh face to a crew that I do like. I mean, I think you and I are in agreement that these horses are kind of bulked together for the most part.
We completely disagree about this race.
We-
I don't like
about
this horse at all.
I know
I
you
hope
don't.
I'm wrong.
That's
First
obvious.
connections, I don't like this horse at
I
all.
think this horse is going to run gigantic today.
Okay.
And in a race that does not have
I'll
a
be
lot
very
of speed,
surprised if he's effective in here.
I don't think this horse has to be too far off.
Oh, he's forward. No question about it. Well, absolutely. No, I don't disagree with that.
I think a rad puts him in the right spot today.
I just don't think he's good enough, but we'll see. Run Happy Travers. Coming up about 12 minutes before 6 o'clock tonight. Race number 12. You know, we'll show Haymack as Jack, who got a good ride last time, lost to a horse that got an even better trip than he did. The problem I have with Haymack as Jack is I bet him last time at 580 to 1, and he's going to be a very short. I don't agree with David. I can't believe this horse is not going to be an
No, he's
overwhelming favorite
got
here.
to be the favorite, right?
Who's going to be shorter than him in here?
Nobody.
Isn't he having what price is he morning line?
3 to 1.
Yeah, maybe.
He's the favorite at 3 to 1.
I thought he'd be 8 to 5 in here, but
I
I'm
thought
probably
it'd be 8
wrong.
to 5 too.
And I'll bet you the truth, if he's 3 to 1 and the horse I picked is 4 to 1, I'd bet him at 3 to 1. I thought there would be a much bigger disparity. I just took Empire Sky because he's a new face to the crew, and I wanted a new face in here. But I think Haymack is Jack's much the best horse. He's only run 4 times at the Turf. He's run well every time. And Feathers Rhodes had a bunch of chances and just doesn't win.
Yeah, it just doesn't win.
But he's not impossible. You've taken the claim rider switch to Joel Rosario after a nightmare trip.
Should have won last time, right? I know it was against much lesser.
Terrible field.
Yeah, I know it was. I know. I said much lesser, but he gets Joel. He gets the outside draw.
He's got to improve.
He's gonna be, and
Trip or not.
he'll be the biggest price of the 3
I don't
horses. I like
know.
the same 3 you
These
like.
days, every wise guy likes this horse.
4,
I get
7,
it.
and 9.
I get it. I picked him third. I get it. But he's too wise guy for me.
Okay.
Race number 13. Funny thing in race number 13.
What's funny, Andy? Tell me.
I don't agree with this line. And I'm not saying David's wrong. I'll put it this way. It's not that I agree with the line. I think the difference between the likelihood of Invincible Gal winning and Salima
Yeah.
is significant. I want to look at the Miss Taparato Invincible Gal Parnack race. It's a funny race. Miss Tornado got a sensational ride and trip from Jose Lizcano. Inside out trip. Parnack gets caught making this wide move, is too wide, and Joel's probably like, ugh, got spun completely out in the middle of the track without getting
No
perfect trip.
man's land.
Invisible Gal sort of dropped back at that point like she was going to get nothing, and she actually re-rallied. Now, you've got Miss Taparato on the far outside, and you've got these two horses drawing inside, and Parnack a Euro, his second time in the country for Christophe Clement. That didn't work for us the other day, but his horses frequently as Euros need a race. And Invincible Gal is second time off the layup as well. I want the 2 inside horses in this race. I think they're the best 2 horses.
I want Salima.
I know you and everyone's. Salima's going to be favored here.
I want Salima.
We'll look
That
at
was some
Salima's
de-
race.
That was some. This is some debut.
Right.
This is some debut.
It was an extraordinarily slow race against an extraordinarily mediocre field.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, a lot of the horses that have broken their maidens at Tampa for Chad Brown she's running away from the field because they're all going in slow motion. So it's a little bit of an optical illusion. I know. She passed the eye test for you. Congratulations. She passed the 60. She did not pass the 60 buyer.
Bleecker Street got a 60 when she broke her maiden too.
And she ran her second race at Monmouth. And she ran about a 63 as well. So cool down. And that was at the Meadowlands. So relax. It
You
took
want 1s and 2s against 6s?
Yeah. Yes.
For whatever-
It'll be 115
Name your
lunches by
prices.
now. 115 lunches in case you're keeping score at home after I win the one earlier. I will take the 1 and the 2 both over 1 over 6 and 2 over 6.
This might be
I'm not way against Salima.
This might be the sickest lunch bet we ever made. We have the horses 1, 2. We both have them 1, 2, 3.
I'm not way against Salima. I just think she's going to be dramatically overbet. I don't disagree. She can improve off that fig. A lot of them do. There's some pretty decent horses in this
Yeah.
race. A little faith is sort of this, in my opinion. I get the idea of taking her because she is the lone speed. Bruce Levine, God bless him, He's 0 for 30 stretching out on the turf with 4 hitting the board.
Doesn't Runaway Rocket have to put some pressure on her, too? I mean, I know she's that much faster, but...
She's a lot faster.
I don't know, man.
She's
inside of her.
She's a lot faster.
All right. We got through it.
Got through it.
We got 2 minutes? No,
I'm waiting for that.
Time-wise.
There's a glazed donut over there with my name on it.
There's a nice coffee with my name on it.
I'll take the glazed donut.
Yours, buddy.
Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member of Naira Bets. There is no better time than the present. Look at Joel. Look at those
Joel's
eyes.
ready for a big
Free
day.
$25 play. Spa 25. Everybody's ready for a big day. It's Run Happy Travers Day.
Yeah, but they can see Joel's ready, Andy.
They're all ready. They're all ready. Flavian Pratt's ready. One idiot over here doesn't think the guy's a good rider.
He's in the 5 path, but he's ready.
Yeah. I know. He rode terribly the other day. Coming up the rail, race after race and winning races. He only won 4 the other day. No, he's terrible. You're right. He stinks. I don't even know what he's doing here. Bet 50 to win in the Sword Dancer, and you'll get $20 win or lose. And 11:30 to 2 on FS1, 2 to 4:30 in FS2, 6 to 7 FS2. All the action covered because from 4:30 to 6,
boom,
will be on the Big Fox, covering the Personal Ensign, the Resorts World Casino Sword Dancer, and the Run Happy Travers.
You're the best, Andy.
Anthony, thank you so much.
See you tomorrow.
You have a great day. Johnny I up next with a reprise, the Scratches and Changes.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant.